Good afternoon. Welcome to the Pritchard Pub. We're going to watch some videos, discuss them, so we'll get right into it.
I recently posted about the tragic loss of my nephew due to spontaneous combustion of mulch. Even though these videos are very hard to make and the story is hard to tell, I felt that by sharing this story, we could hopefully save someone else's life. What I didn't expect was hundreds and thousands of comments from people saying that something similar has happened to them, or people who were completely unaware that mulch can spontaneously combust. I can't keep up with the amount of comments that are coming in. However, I feel that it's my duty and my obligation to share this information in a way that's honoring Cullen's life and it gives his life purpose. And because I can't keep up with the comments, I want to do a few videos answering some of the frequently asked questions that I've gotten in these posts. One of the questions was, how in the heck does mulch catch on fire without some sort of ignition source? Keep in mind, this does not only happen with mulch. With mulch, though, it can happen with uncolored mulch or colored mulch, but it can also happen to piles of wood chips, bales of hay, your compost piles. As these organic materials break down and decompose, oxidation occurs, and this process is what generates the heat. Now, when you have a pile of these materials that is too thick, oxygen can become trapped in that pile. You can also have certain weather conditions. So this can happen even when it's freezing outside. It's due to oxygen. So if there's a slight breeze, if you've had no rain, you have excessive dryness in your area, that heat that is generated is combined with that oxygen, and this is what creates a fire. So I hope that explaining this is helpful to you and helps you become aware. Now I would just do your research on what is the best option for you to be putting around your home and in your garden beds. And if you do go with mulch, make sure that you understand how to properly care for that mulch so that you don't have something like this happen to you. Again, thank you for sharing these messages. I know that these things are reaching people at the time that they need to hear it because one, it's spring, people are starting to do their landscaping. Number two, I've had tons of comments from people saying, wow, we were just getting ready to install mulch. Now I know, or I was completely unaware and we just had all of this installed or we have bags of it in our driveway. I know this is going to save lives. I recently posted.
So yeah, really interesting. If you think about it, mulch is the late stage version of a forest floor. That's like when it's rife for burning down and restarting. So us laying mulch everywhere is kind of funny if you think about it. It's like
That's a terrible thing. So he died from the mulch, like to just catch fire and burn him, because that's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
That's been pretty big deal, but that's really tragic.
I agree. We'll go to the next one here.
I can see where a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah, she's doing the right thing, spreading awareness.
Yeah.
What else could we do on our double date, you think?
Backward.
Where could we go to eat?
I think we should go
you for over a half an hour and it's past 9 o'clock at night. I cannot help you. Okay, I'm just trying to explain to you. I cannot fix this for you. I can't help you. It's just I can't do it in that amount of time.
You realize that I am the one with the money, right? And you're not. I am the one that's hiring you.
Ma'am, that was incredibly rude. I don't know who you think. I'm trying very hard to remain professional. I can't understand where you think you're coming from with that. I have other clients that book 2 or 3 months out for me, and there are only a few in there that I'm actually designing myself. I don't even know how you got my number. But this is...
I came for 120 for tomorrow. I need to have this done. It needs to be taken care of.
It's not going to happen with me, but there are other bakers around the city that can help you. Maybe I'm not sure.
I mean, bitch, Walmart could pull this off.
Bitch, Walmart.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Did you say bitch?
I did.
Okay, you know what? The only bitch is you because you've sat here and basically made fun of the fact that everybody else on the planet doesn't have any fucking money but you. I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but I'm the wrong motherfucker. I'm the wrong motherfucker. And it's past 9 o'clock at night. I've got shit to do. Do you understand me? And it's not to make a cake for you. It's not to make a cake for you. Do you
It's
understand?
not.
Use this number.
This is nice.
I can't believe you would talk to me this way.
Oh, go fuck yourself. That was crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
I
said the
don't
right
even know
thing.
what to say.
I don't even know if we post that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been calling like my congressman and they don't answer the phone anymore. Is anybody else having this experience? I leave voicemails, but I've been calling like 4 or 5 times now. It always goes to voice. Aren't
Yeah,
they
they don't
supposed
do
to
their
keep track
fucking
of all the
jobs.
calls
Right.
and log them? It's funny because last time I called, I
It's a
was speaking to the
ceremonial
guy and I was
position.
like, do I really have to call every day? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, well, you're probably working in an Excel file. So can't I just tell you that I intend to call for the next 30 days and you put it in 30 things? Now they just don't even answer the phone. Like our government's not working. It's just pretending to work. It's a facade. But this is the shit that makes me convinced that everything is about to fall apart very soon.
Yeah, everybody's
Hopefully
feeling that
not.
way.
I mean, no, I wanted to. I'm ready. So I've been calling like my Congress.
Are you ready though? Are any of us really
Yeah,
ready?
that's what
I don't
like,
think so.
Honestly, in this country, people would rather be living in a fucking zombie or no zombie apocalypse. Because an apocalypse would be way better than the fucking garbage daily lives we do have.
The thing is we're all so accustomed to the food that we eat and having access to water and stuff. Like, we have fun playing games like Fallout and Skyrim, but like, most of us don't even know how to hunt or anything like that, you know?
I have
So,
a really bad headache, and hearing about the government just makes it worse.
yeah, the government is a headache.
Yep.
We'll go to the next one here.
Somebody come look at this. They done arrested this Haitian gentleman talking about P. Diddy. They got this Haitian man apprehended. This is Jean Pierre. This ain't no damn P. Diddy. This is what the diddler looks like. This look like that dude, Baby Alien. Okay, let's make a quick comparison, shall we? Look at the moles that he got right here. Look at them. You see the moles? Now look at Jean Pierre. This is not the diddler.
That's very close though.
I
Could be
mean,
body double.
this is Roger from American Dad. They got in custody with a motherfucking toupee on. This ain't the real P. Diddy. He got eczema on his neck and shit. This is not. Let this Dominican man go. This is a Haitian man. This is not no
It's a
damn
Haitian
P.
man.
Diddy. Somebody come look at this.
That's funny.
They done a.
What'd you squirt in your mouth that turns your mouth blue?
Oh shit.
What? What'd you squirt in your mouth there that,
What?
that turns your mouth blue?
Adderall.
Why are you squirting Adderall?
I don't squirt Adderall. What are you talking about?
What are you
That's what I
talking
just
about?
said. I asked you what you just squirted in your mouth that turned your mouth blue, and you said Adderall.
I didn't squirt. You don't squirt Adderall in your mouth.
That's why I'm asking. That's kind of weird.
I didn't squirt it.
Well,
I,
what'd you-
I just took it.
You just took your Adderall right now?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of I have insomnia issues, and Adderall helps me sleep at night.
Okay, well, you know you're not supposed to take Adderall and drive a car, right?
Oh really?
Says who?
Okay. Go ahead and pull up your insurance for me, Mr. Wallace. What'd you squirt in
For
your
real,
mouth that
though.
turns your mouth blue?
Yeah.
What?
I really must say that people who need Adderall, like, they can fucking drive on it. God damn. It's like,
It focuses you from what I know of it. But I mean, I could
There's-
see a certain level where you're just like, yeah.
okay, if you
Alter.
have like such ramped up like panic, for example, and then take
Yeah.
an Ativan, it's going to calm you down and put you at baseline, where if you're at baseline and then take it, it's going to make you tired, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, they need to quit acting like people can't take medications they have tolerance to and fucking drive. Yes, they fucking can.
Dude's drunk too, but like, yeah, you're 100% right.
How do you know?
You're right. He could just, it could be any number of things. That could literally be a speech impediment or something. But like, yeah, and it cuts off. So we don't really know how it ends. You know what I mean? So you're right.
That's wild.
Don't have none. My daughter wiped something on my lips and told me something. Rub your lips together. My stupid ass not thinking. I did it. Rubbed it together. I was like, what's this? She talking about some snot. Pardon fucking me. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
If you ain't got kids, don't have none.
Oh,
My
whatever.
daughter wiped something on my lips and told me.
Nasty.
Yesterday, I
It's
posted
funny.
a video
Yeah, that was funny, but
Kids do ridiculous
about
shit.
the 41
Yeah,
supporters that
kids
TMZ
are-
found in the case of Drake Bell versus Brian Peck. It garnered 1 million views in less than 24 hours, and the majority of the comments were name names. So here we are. There's a lot of information that I want to cover here, so this is probably going to be a multi-part kind of series that I do here on TikTok. So if you want to see more than just this video, please like and follow. I'm going to be doing these videos as fast as I can. The first person we're going to start with is an actor by the name of Alan Thicke. At the time, he was the father character in a TV show called Growing Pains. He also happened to spawn this character right here. If you don't know who he is, we're going to get into that because that's really interesting too. These are all of the letters of support, but I did highlight the ones that I did want to talk about the most. So when it comes to Alan Thicke, the part that I wanted to talk about here, it says, because he was never inappropriate in any way around children, including my own 2 young sons, I was shocked and saddened to learn of the trouble he was in. Knowing him as I did, I also know beyond a doubt how remorseful he is and how dedicated and focused he will be on his rehabilitation. That means he understood the allegations against him. But the one part that I really want to bring you in on is because he was never inappropriate in any way around children, including my own 2 young sons. This is where we travel back to his son. This is Robin Thicke. If you don't know who he is, he was a prominent singer. He did R&B music, and he created a little song back in the day basically saying that he doesn't care that women say no to his sexual advances.
Yeah, it's a pretty rapey one.
So you can do with that what you will, but as far as I'm concerned, people learn this kind of behavior from other people. So he probably learned it from somewhere. Now, if you don't know, Alan Thicke passed away already. So we can't ask him to rescind the support that he gave to Brian Peck. Unfortunately, it stands where it stands. Secondarily, we have James Marsden. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know who he is. This is a 2-page letter of support, but I highlighted only what I really thought you needed to know. It says, I know Brian very well, and I know how much he has suffered since August of 2003. What Brian has been through in the last year is the suffering of 100 men. But I do feel compelled to shed light on the fact that he has learned his lesson. The earth would fall from the sky before Brian would ever think about doing something like this again.
people get so hyperbolic.
Again, meaning he knew what he was being accused of. But why is he talking about Brian like he was the victim? What Brian has been through in the last year is the suffering of 100 men. But what about the suffering of this young man? He didn't go through the suffering that this young man did. Why are you writing a letter of support that appears to be victimizing a perpetrator?
Right.
The problem with this now is he is still very much alive and quiet. Why? If this is something you're going to be interested in hearing more about, I've got multiple pages and more people to go through. Please like and comment and follow so that way I know that you're interested and I'll keep making these videos.
Oh yeah, interesting stuff. Lots of stuff coming to light.
It's wild.
Yeah, super wild.
Welcome, Paladin Dragoon.
Hail.
Hail.
Agreed. Grow a pair indeed.
I'm going to run and put some contact solution in quick.
Do you want me to move on to the next one or wait?
Just wait for me, okay?
Okay. How we doing today, Paladin Dragon? Oh yeah, for sure. Guys like this, they kind of dwell on celebrities a lot. You know what I mean? At the same time, whenever these stories are true, it's important to talk and spread awareness about it, you know. It's one of those gray area things where people can go too hard on it. This person obviously can monetize on TikTok by talking about celebrities, and they obviously care a lot And you know, if any children were harmed in any sort of like interactions here with these characters, I believe the full extent of the law should be thrown at them. But I don't know, dragging it out in the open like this, like I said, can be important, can go too far at the same time. He's got to be careful. He will be opened up to litigation. Yeah, no, 100%. Especially, oh yeah, we've seen the public trials these days. Those public celebrity trials where like they talk about like a tweet as publication and stuff like that, which I mean is true.
I've
to an
been
extent.
outing and specifically name dropping people from the modeling industry on TikTok, and I don't give a fuck because none of it's untrue. Everything I say is 100% the truth, and if they don't like it, they should have thought of that before being the scum of the earth. So
There we go.
I'm not afraid, and I don't really care
Right.
myself, but I think on TikTok, part of the reason they want to ban it, obviously, is because people can't stop, and it's so many people, and they're going to have a really hard time going to litigation with everyone. Oh, this one's a banger.
Is this a banger? All right. Enjoy, Paladin. Thanks for coming by.
I definitely will do that.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, pause it for a second. I just want to say that I'm not just, it's an open ask me anything about the fashion industry. So names have come up, but it's not like I'm just, out here just trying to ruin people's lives or something like that.
And hopefully the music doesn't cause any issues here. Maybe if we talk during the music, that's...
Well, we already paused. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Oh dear. Iron Age. Everybody does it their own way. Is that the same dude or is that his wife? Okay.
That's him.
Okay.
That's his lady.
What the hell? What did we just watch? Okay.
Beautiful skit, right?
Yeah.
We had a movie. Is your wife signed with an agency? I suppose if my agency now sees all the shit I'm talking, I mean, they're actually a really bad agency. They haven't done shit for me. They've uploaded like a couple photos and they're not good. So I'm pretty over it myself, but they also always want me to lie about my age. That's good. And when I was 25, I'm like, no, even like 23, they're like, say you're 16.
Yeah.
No thanks. That's
Weird.
fucking creepy.
Yeah, what are you doing? Like, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see what this guy says.
When I was like 9 years old, we had a movie theater in my hometown called Studio Art, and it said on the sign that they showed adult movies, and I was very intrigued by that. So every time we would pass it, I would be like, Mom, can we go to Studio Art? And she'd be like, no, we can't. And I'd be like, why? And she'd say, they don't have movies there that you would like. So one time, my grandma was babysitting me, and I'm like, Grandma, can we go to Studio Art? And she didn't know what that was. So she was like, maybe. How much does it cost? And I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. So I pulled out the phone book and looked up the number, and I called Studio Art. And I was like, how much does it cost? And the guy on the phone was like, how old are you? And I was like, 9. And he was like, you have to be 18. And I was like, it's okay. I'm with my grandma. And before he could say anything, I handed her the phone. And now my grandma is talking to Studio. And I could see the look on her face turn to horror as the guy was talking. And then she looked at me with this look in her eye, like, we can never talk about this. When I was like 9 years old, we had a movie theater.
Okay, like real quick couple of questions. What was on the boat? Like what was in those containers? 'Cause it was carrying almost 5,000 containers. So like what was on the
Nobody
boat?
talks
What was
about
on the
that, do
boat? Like I haven't done
Well,
a
we
ton
should
of
probably
digging into
find
this specific
out.
company, but I guess their owner was like found in their car. So like what was on the boat? and it was going to this place, which
I feel like if this was on purpose, it was more about
was
the
on the
bridge,
boat?
like Andy was saying, than the boat, though.
Yeah,
What was
could be double whammy.
the boat?
Yeah.
And it
Because
could
the
be. I think it
rumor
was
is
to
this port is,
discredit the
like, one of
company
the
too.
biggest
I
hubs for this
personally
type
think
of
that
activity. So like,
what was on the
what was
boat,
on the boat? And then
I
for the
mean, Diddy went down, so he had to cancel a shipment.
Yeah,
basically like
yeah.
you and I, taxpayers, are going to pay for them to put this
That's what
boat in.
she's saying
But
too, I
that's a
think.
shipping giant, which definitely has insurance. Why aren't they making an insurance claim where they can like do an investigation?
Oh, they probably
and
are.
figure out what happened
In
to
ways.
the boat.
They
What was
don't
on
have
the
to if they're not
boat,
covering
what
anything.
was
Why
on
would
the
they
boat, and we're
investigate?
paying
Oh,
for the
that's true.
insurance. So there doesn't have to be an investigation. No. We'll just pay for it and everything goes away. What was on the boat? This is
Oh,
a
yeah.
severe problem in Baltimore.
Okay,
so
well, so
what was
it's,
on the boat?
you know,
Okay, like
good area for trafficking, so it is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I heard that like $28 billion worth of trucking goes through it every day.
Mostly coal. Is that really what it was, though? Do you know that?
Um,
Can you confirm? Did you see in there?
Yeah, there's like I can't like quote the exact, because I don't have it in front of me, obviously, but something like that. Like a lot of like trucking and shipping goes through that bridge every day, and like, yeah, it's not like all that just goes away because one bridge is gone. It's just rerouted, but it would cause a severe inconvenience on like the surrounding region and stuff.
He's all excited watching the birthday party episode. It's your birthday tomorrow, baby.
That's a mostly major coal export for Euro, though.
Like hyperventilating because they're on the carousel.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on next here.
This is a PSA to parents to please monitor your kids. I say this because, well, A, you should be doing that anyways, but B, something super scary just happened to me and my girls, and I had to withdraw them from public school. Now I got to homeschool them, and it was just a huge, scary ordeal the past couple of days. So for a little bit of context, a couple weeks ago, my 12-year-old said that she bumped into this boy at school. They exchanged phone numbers, and I'm not typically okay with my girls talking to boys on the phone, but I'm trying not to be overbearing. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. That's fine. And since then, they have been talking all day, every day. And she had said something the other night that kind of like sparked my red flag radar. And I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. So because of that, I was like, okay, I need to check her phone. So I go through her text messages with this boy, and come to find out they met from a child's game. And it was not a 14-year-old boy. She thought it was, but it was actually a grown man. He was asking her stuff about her school schedule, about her bus schedule, asking her what her sexuality was.
Oh, wow.
He was very grammatically correct in everything that he was saying, the commas, the spelling, like no abbreviations, just not typically how a 14-year-old boy would speak. So of course, me being like super furious, I'm like, what the heck? Where did you meet this kid? And then she spilled the beans and said that she met them on some kid game and exchanged phone numbers and all that kind of stuff. And he was really weird about not giving her any information of his, but he wanted to know all this stuff about her. Anyways, long story short, this man now knows her school schedule, her bus drop off, her what time she went to school, what time she got off, what city we live in, how far away we are from the nearest grocery store. Like he knew all of this geographical information and personal information that not a 14-year-old boy would typically be asking for. So after all of that, I had to notify the school, file a police report. It was a whole thing. And my youngest, she's 9.
So she goes on to say that she pulls the younger one out of school because her youngest was afraid to get kidnapped. Yeah, I would guess so. And we actually know someone that has a daughter that went through the same thing.
Roblox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
We
turned
won't
out
say
to be,
names.
of course not.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a grown man.
Yeah.
Like,
and our friend holds.
they like this girl thought she was dating this grown man. It's really sad.
Our friend feels pretty guilty about it, but I feel like he shouldn't beat himself up as much as he does. It's like these games enable it. I know you should
You
be watching
wouldn't-
your kids anyway.
Well, you wouldn't think your kids are going to be talking to people
Right.
like this on such a simple game like that.
Mhm.
Like, people probably don't even realize that they have messaging and,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, keep your kids off the
Um,
internet.
I have to take this call 1 second. I missed it. No worries. I'll
Okay.
leave a voicemail if it's important. Oops. I almost started calling them back.
All right. How I convinced Social Security to issue me real Social Security numbers. For
Oh,
free.
dude.
Ultimately, what I did was I ended up
He's the
convincing
reason housing
Social
went up.
Security to issue me Social Security numbers to children that do not exist. So I would make a fake birth certificate for a 10-month-old child, and I'd make a fake shot record, and I'd go into Social Security and say, hey, my son or my daughter, these were actually all men's at this point. So I'd say, my son was born 10 months ago and he doesn't have a Social Security number. And they go, well, was he born in a hospital? I'd say, well, he was born with a midwife. And I say at home, and the pediatrician said that they never ordered one and I needed to come down here. And they were like, okay. And they'd look, hold on. Oh, you're right. There's nothing for this person, for your child. And they would issue me a Social Security number. So they'd mail it to me in the mail. 2 weeks later, I get it. And then I would go online and I would apply for credit cards in the name of that child. But I wouldn't say he's 10 months old. I'd say he's 33 or 32. So I would apply and I would get denied. Of course, he's got no credit history. But they would offer me secured credit cards instead. So I get the secured credit cards, make the payments for 6 months. And in 6 months, you've got 700 credit scores.
Right.
So now I have someone that on paper has 700 plus credit scores. So I name these borrowers. You'll get a kick out of this. I name the borrowers like the first, like one of them was like Lee Black. One was Michael White. One was David Silver. One is Brandon Green, James Red. So Reservoir.
You're a fan of Tarantino movies.
Yeah, of course. I love that movie, right? And actually, I think Pulp Fiction had come out by then. And then I saw that movie because I didn't see it in theater, but God, it was so good. Yeah. And I was so, the characters were so great, right? So anyway, I thought it was cute. I'm thinking I'm so smart. So I do this and I then turn around and I thought, so I'm going to have these guys buy these properties. And then I don't have to put 30 grand in to fix them up. I thought I could put 5 or 10 grand in.
So you buy the property first, like a fixer upper.
Right.
Use your own money.
Yeah.
Is there a loan on that?
Well, at some point, sometimes
I buy cash.
First it's cash, not cash. I mean, it's my own money.
Right.
I have money in the bank.
That's what I mean. Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's a clean fraud deal that you buy a house cash in your name, you create the fake person, right? And then you apply for a loan for that person. That person applies for the loan to buy your
to buy that property for top dollar, $100,000, right? So what do you make? You put 10 grand in it, clean it up. Like he's never going to need to live there.
No.
So what I thought was, that's good, but I'm going to make 30 grand, maybe 40. And I was like, there's got to be a way to get these things to appraise higher. Well, by that point, I'm divorced and I'm dating a girl at a title company. And I go to her and I say, listen, how do I get a house? I want to buy a house, but I want to record the value of the sale of the house higher than the 50 grand. And she's like, oh, well, you would just have to pay the extra doc stamps on it.
The what?
Documentary stamps. So when you buy a house for, let's say, $100,000, you pay $700 in doc stamps. So she was like, so you're paying about $350. If you paid an extra $350, it'd show up at $100,000. I go, but if I paid an extra $1,050, it'd show up for $200,000. And she's like, oh, yeah. And then she was like, yeah, but nobody's going to believe those houses are worth $200,000. I said, if there's enough of them, they will. And she was like, I mean, I guess. And I was like, okay. So it was literally, I think it was like 2 days later, 3 days later, I came in with the thing and said, okay, tell me exactly what to do. And she's like, oh my God, are you serious? I go, yeah, I'm serious. She's like, shut the door. I'm not going to notarize it. And I was like, that's fine. Like I got a bunch of notary stamps. Like if you can go and just order notary stamps at like
Wow.
Office Depot or whatever.
This
and
dude
3
is
days later, they
smooth.
call you up and say, "Oh, you're Mr. Johnson. Your notary stamp
Right.
is here." You
Truth.
walk in and they give it to you. So
Yeah, if this guy can make, if you can get the Social Security office to send you
yeah, that's
fake
not a problem, right?
Social Security cards, I think you can figure out the notary.
Right. So I've got like 5 notaries. So she shows me how to do it maybe 2 or 3 times. And then she's like, I'm not doing these anymore. This is, you're going to end up in prison. I was like, okay, well, I don't need you anymore, actually.
It's
So,
the most honest person Florida's ever
Right.
produced.
So-
She only did it 5 times.
so I start making them. So I start buying these houses for $50,000
Mhm.
and I'm recording the sale at 200, 220, 190, 195, 205. And now the FBI said I did 109 houses. That's untrue. I don't remember 109 houses.
They're all
I feel like they
creeps.
threw some of my regular sales into. Some of those were legit.
Message that to me.
Whatever.
and
Let's
we'll pull it
say
up.
I don't know what it ends up being, but basically every person
Joe
that I
Rogan.
made bought 5 to 6
5 minutes.
houses. So here's what happens. I buy the house for 50. I record the value at 200,000. I put $10,000 into it. So I mow the yard. We repaint the house. We clean up the outside. So take some good pictures. I get an appraisal done and from a friend of mine who says that the inside of the house is fine. Like we put different pictures in there.
Mhm.
So you can't tell that that inside is
Mhm.
gutted
Shithole.
practically. And from the outside, it looks good. So if the lender
Oh,
does
wow.
an appraisal, if they say we're going to do a desk, they call it a drive-by review. They send somebody out there. He drives by the house. He takes a picture of the outside. He looks at the comparable sales,
Mhm.
all of which I've created.
Right.
So my guy, James Red, owns 5 houses within about half a mile of each
Mhm.
other. This one sold for 210, 205, 195,
Yo, bat sauce.
400 and
That
or sorry,
sounds-
2
I believe he
245,
did.
whatever.
Does James
Well-
Red, when he's applying for the loan, what does he say he's going to do? Is he going to fix them up and rent them
No,
out?
no,
or
no,
this
keep-
is for
No,
I'm
his
hoping they
family? Like,
reveal
how do you
that,
justify
however.
buying 5 houses in
no.
the same
James
neighborhood?
Red buys it for 50 from the get-go. He buys it for 50,
Right.
but records the sale at 200. So when he walks into a bank or calls the bank to apply for the loan, they say, "Oh, is this your address?" "Yeah, I bought it about 2 months ago." "Oh, okay. What'd you pay for it?" $200,000. "I have an appraisal. It's worth 200." They send an appraiser out. Their appraiser says, "Yeah, it's worth 200,000. I want to refinance my house." The comparable
Wow.
sales are there's a comparable sale 3 blocks over. Brandon Green bought it for 205. There's another one a block away. Michael White bought it for 210. Like, so it's legitimate. There's so many comparables.
Mm.
It's worth 210.
So they're the cash comes from the refinance.
Yes.
That's the play.
Yes.
Okay.
What I did was ultimately what I did was I
So I'm not sure what his name is, but I could have sworn that I heard him talking on, I don't know, was he on Rogan? He was on something,
Somewhere.
and I'm pretty sure it was him. And I think he got in trouble where he was actually locked up for a number of years, but I could be wrong.
I
So
could
it might not be the same guy.
I could totally see him being locked up. And maybe he rolled on some people, and now he's free, or maybe it's some sort of professional imprisonment at home. What is it called? Distance prison. You know what I mean? Home. What's it called? Where you're
House arrest.
house arrest. Yes, yes. House arrest. It could be something like that, or maybe they just allow him to tell the story. But like that was a very educational story. I think that's the word. Very eye-opening.
Yeah, doesn't do people like us favors that can't afford a home.
No. And then we have the goat here.
$50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him 50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down 50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times, just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right? Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no.
Did he be wanting to
You gotta tell
party?
him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say I'm so free.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Can't, man.
Crazy.
And they called him crazy, like after all this stuff. When Cat made his rounds on all these podcasts and we're talking about this shit, everybody went nuts. They were like, "Oh, fuck Cat Williams, he's crazy." Da 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 da. It's like, well, much like some other figures we've seen in the past, maybe crazy is a little relative, and maybe they're not right about everything, and maybe they're being a little hyperbolic, like my son. But some of the things, you know, if even one thing is true, it's pretty startling. You know what I mean? It's pretty intense, especially when you're on like the level of Diddy, like the Clintons and Epstein.
Boo! Hold on.
I just saw TikTok of a girl who went through a breakup in Europe, but she's like American, so she had to come back to America. But she has like a senior dog that wouldn't have survived the trip back, like in cargo, and it was too big to fly in the cabin. And so she fucking posted about it on TikTok, and a pilot for somebody who flies private jets saw it and got them home on a private jet. And now her and the pilot are in love. What the fuck? Her and the pilot are in love. I just saw a TikTok of a girl who went through a
Oh my god!
I actually looked into this, and I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Anyway, so pilot gets her dog home, and it was like, I don't know, I think they had to wait like a month or something like that. And the dog actually has since passed away. So it was like her dog was waiting until she was back home and like at peace, and her mom was okay and everything. And then it was just really sweet. But she had to move back to California where her support system is because she has a disability. And so, yeah, it's just really sweet that her and the pilot fell in love.
Yeah, this is like a storybook thing. Like,
Yeah, they're actually taking Netflix, trying to get them to buy
yeah.
story
I
rights.
could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Let me queue up the next one. I like it being a little bit of a surprise and having it already, so it's not interrupted. This is a good song.
This is them.
Oh, this is the people?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
It's not even national news anymore, right? Like Anderson Cooper didn't put on his tight black shirt and go out there. 8 high school students being shot in a mass shooting at a bus stop on their way home from school in Philadelphia isn't even national news. It's not. It was a blip for everyone else.
There's so many
The day
blips.
before the State
Yeah.
of the Union. 8 kids are waiting to go home from school between the ages of 15 and 17, and 2 guys in a stolen vehicle hop out of the car and they spray everybody waiting at the bus stop. The kids have to go to the hospital. All of them survived. One of them
And
was
that's why it
critical,
wasn't
but
national
the rest
news.
of the
Yeah,
students at that
yeah.
school, they didn't
Let's
even
be
get
real.
a snow day. They just went virtual learning. We have plans now on what to do. It is so common now that we treat mass shootings like snow days. You
Yeah.
don't even get the fucking day off. You still gotta do school. You just gotta do it from home on your Chromebook. But don't worry, it was donated to you by Comcast. Not one member of Congress during the State of the Union stood up and heckled and yelled, "Say their names!" Nobody
Well,
wore pins.
They don't say their names
This
when that
isn't going to be a
happens.
campaign issue. You know why?
Like the
Because
president did.
shooters' birth certificates are going to say that they were born here in the good old US of A. And since they're not foreign, then it's not a problem. We aren't scared of homegrown shooters. No. But do they have a slight tan
That's
and
not
a little
true.
bit of an accent?
Right.
Well then,
We're very scared of homegrown.
Right.
Actually, I would argue more scared of
Anderson Cooper
homegrown.
didn't.
And I would really like to know why he's not covering the trans shooters.
Yeah, where's the outrage there? Just saying, bro.
Because we can't, because if a trans person does something wrong and we call it out, we're fucking transphobic.
Which is just name calling.
Mind you, no one's afraid of them.
Yeah, phobia. That's actually super disingenuous to real phobias, and I think that's phobia phobic. If we're gonna go
Yeah,
down that.
you bet your ass we will.
Anyway,
There's absolutely, okay.
yeah, we could go down that, but
Do you want to put the fucking volume on?
yes, I saw a message from Paladin here. Let me pull that up.
That's what I was responding to, and I said, "You bet your ass we will."
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Make sure nobody in here. Hello. See, there go man. There goes. There's the man. See what I'm saying? There's the man. You know this is the women's bathroom, right? Sorry. That's the women's bathroom.
A lot of people gonna watch this video and give dude the benefit of the doubt and say, "Oh, he's just some random dude using the women's restroom." So why didn't he use the men's restroom? We don't hear a bunch of people outside. It doesn't seem like it's a big event going on, so we can assume that the men's restroom wasn't packed. Okay, so maybe the women's restroom was closer, or maybe the men's restroom was out of order. Okay, let's roll with that. But judging by the dad's voice, he was saying it like, "Yo, why you in here and not over there?"
A man in the women's bathroom. That's why you got to go in here with your kids. Make sure. Let me make sure nobody else ain't in here. Let me make sure.
That's still not enough to say this dude was up to no good. The giveaway is the water. 15 seconds had passed from when they opened that door to when that weirdo went to go and dry his hands. So if he was actually washing his hands, we would have heard some water. And I might be wrong, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And I can only assume that
Also, it's
motherfucker
quiet.
was posted up in there, waiting for a female to come up in there, and he got caught. So yes, fathers, if you with your daughters and your sons, always check the bathrooms. And ladies, even if you with your man or your homies or your friends, make sure they check the bathrooms for you. Because that was a big ass dude. He could have took down a grown ass woman. When the dad is asking, "Do you want me to go up in there?" and she's like, "No," she don't know the danger she's in. That's why you can't listen to the kids. Be a fucking parent.
Yeah. Dude, this guy's legit.
You got to go in there with your kids. Make sure no man in the damn bathroom.
Your park or your playground could be in the safest neighborhood, but that don't change the mindset of pervs and weirdos. And the last thing you want to be is another story on TikTok. Shit, man, I'd have put that motherfucker on his back.
Yeah, dude.
Got me upset, man. Y'all be
It's-
safe out there.
So this is just, I had seen this video and I didn't even realize that, but there is no way he was washing his hands. Oh, it's silent, silent, silent. She comes up. Oh, there's a dude. And she was kind of like looking, you know.
He heard her dad too. I know.
Right. So he does that. He wants to get out of there as soon as he can. So he triggers it again a second time because your hands are not going to be dry at the first time. And even after that, they would have been wet after that garbage dryer.
Yeah.
It's anchoring. He was waiting in there.
He was.
Like a fucking creep.
The only criticism I can give it is it was perhaps staged.
It wasn't.
But
it was not staged.
Right. He's got his little daughter in there and stuff. So
No one's going to be like, sure, I'll play the actor of pedophile.
yeah. And his showing his face and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
people could do some
Not
sleuthing
staged.
and find him. For
Not
sure.
staged. Yeah, like Tizzy, that dude who's like, all right, we got to find this person.
Mhm.
And then everyone finds them.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
You ready?
I thought it was muted.
Why would you think that?
Because it was quiet.
You think so? Yeah. You like it? Does it look like you?
No, he looks like a person.
It looks like a person.
Oh no!
Oh, whoa.
Fucking mummified. She's
Yeah.
6,000 years old.
Oh no. It's like
Did that kid just say, please don't break up?
Stop! What?
don't break up.
I tried. I'm sorry. I'm not good at this.
I approve of this game. This is a great like marital game.
I thought
by the way.
Wolfman.
Dude, it looks like a demon.
Or like La Llorona.
I really want to do that. That would be fun. Or the one where we add to each other's on a timer.
Yeah.
Every 5 seconds you pass it, or 30 or whatever.
Yeah, there's one that's like past the parcel where you keep trading. Is it each other's?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, you each start with one and then you go back and forth every like 30 seconds adding to, and just build pictures together.
Hell yeah.
But this one would be fun.
Right.
We should. I don't know what happened to my stack of canvas.
We could do it on stream too if we can get good at it. Like if we can get like so we're not like there's dead air and stuff like that. I could see it.
Yeah, well, we can just talk and hang out.
Yeah, yeah. Like while we're painting.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
of course.
Okay. Oh, I got a glimpse of this one. This is
Beautiful.
yeah. Spirit animals inspiration. Shout outs to Royce. A drink with crazy. The goat.
This is the biggest mystery that ancient Egyptians left behind. The 24 stone coffins. Each of these colossal coffins, weighing around 100 tons, was transported into an underground artificial cave system. The coffin situated at the pinnacle of this junction promises to unveil profound secrets. Despite the cave's tight and treacherous corridors, which complicate any transport or crafting process, these coffins were abandoned here as untouched stone blocks. Interestingly, their lids are found at the cave's entrance, suggesting that these enormous stone blocks were imported from outside. To reach their designated chamber, they had to be maneuvered through these confined passageways, where they were then meticulously shaped and set in place. Every coffin is impeccably carved and polished, boasting perfect 90-degree angles. The internal surfaces gleam with such smoothness that they mirror reflections. The feat of carving such intricate designs from solid rock remains a marvel. The stone had to be chiseled on all sides. This craftsmanship is so precise that it almost seems as if these coffins were shaped using modern laser technology.
They
This is the
probably
biggest
were.
mystery that ancient Egyptians left.
Or like
I mean-
something similar. I saw so I added a counter to this type of stuff in the videos I picked out. I guess one of the arguments is they used stars and the sun and like shadows and stuff, and you can get like perfect angles that way. But I still don't think that adds up for everything, you know.
Yeah. You're idiots if you think that civilization is the most advanced now and that they've never had, you know, Wi-Fi, lasers, whatever, power tools, heavy machinery. Doesn't make sense that they wouldn't.
It's not fantasy because we can do it. It's actually very egotistical to just assume that we're the only ones who can.
I mean, look at the way we act as a society.
And I'm not saying aliens either by any means. I don't think
Right.
we are I don't think we're a household that will say aliens. We will say ancient humans, smart people. Like we were, it was us, but we just had more stuff figured out. Because later, the people who talk about the counter to this type of stuff, they are really offended by like ancient aliens and stuff like that, and they are out to get it. But it's kind of funny to me. It's like I think you're both kind of missing the middle area where it was probably just us, you know.
Their lids are found. If this is true, it changes everything. According to historical records, the first ancient civilization known to us is that of the ancient Sumerians. The Sumerians existed over 6,000 years ago, predating the Egyptians by 1,000 years. They resided in a region known as Mesopotamia, which encompasses present-day Iraq and parts of Iran, Kuwait, Syria, and Turkey. The Sumerians referred to themselves as black-headed ones, or black-headed people, and held a belief in gods known as the Anunnaki, described as children of the earth and skies. Some researchers speculate that the ancient Sumerians had a remarkable understanding of the universe, as depicted in artifacts showing the solar system with planets orbiting the sun. Adding to their intrigue are depictions of ancient handbags and bracelets. The Sumerians made groundbreaking inventions, including the wheel, alphabet, and the calendar we use today. They also developed irrigation systems for farming and established a system to measure time in seconds, minutes, and hours. Some believe that knowledge was bestowed upon them. The Sumerian civilization appears to have been one of the most advanced of its time, challenging modern explanations of our history. The discovery of 30,000 stone tablets from ancient Sumeria includes the story called the Epic of Gilgamesh, which features a great flood, an event also found in many other religious texts. Scientists link the end of the last ice age to several temperature anomalies and a significant rise in sea levels, likely caused by an asteroid impact. This catastrophic event may have led to the rapid melting of ice and widespread devastation to various species, including animals, plants, and humans. Some speculate that the tale of the Great Flood is not a mere myth, but a way of passing down knowledge through generations to ensure its survival. Recent findings, such as Göbekli Tepe in Upper Mesopotamia, dating back at least 11,600 years, have questioned the age and origins of the Sumerians. It is still uncertain where the ancient Sumerians originated from, and some theories suggest they may have migrated south into southern Mesopotamia, where the people of Göbekli Tepe became the Sumerians we know today. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments.
So yeah, the Sumerians are just always endlessly fascinating to me, especially that bit about the Great Flood and asteroidal impact into the ice caps. Like that's exactly how we're. That's one reason. That's one way that they're speculating how to revive Mars, is thermonuclear devices on the ice caps and stuff, which is like kind of what a meteor would like simulate and stuff like that. So that little bit there is like, I like how they stuck pretty pragmatically to the truth and like the facts. Like, listen, there's been this discovered, there's been that discovered. This looks like that, you know what I mean? And if you think about it, that totally would account for like a worldwide flood if an asteroidal impact in the, not just in the ocean, that like one tsunami. I always, even as a kid, I always thought that wasn't enough. But like you hit the ice caps and mass melt all of that. Now we're getting somewhere, you know what I mean? But I digress. What do you think, babe?
I'm good on that. Next video.
Okay. This one's fascinating too.
They have microbes and gut biomes in their stomach that no one else on the planet has. Scientists come and literally steal their shit. Find them and they steal their shit. And I'm like,
Their actual poop.
their actual
Just
poop.
to get their biome.
Because there's biomes in there that don't exist anywhere. See the bees on his head?
They're lighting him up and he's eating the honey.
And it does nothing to him.
Really?
So we go climb. Yeah, come on, climb the tree. Guy sticks his hand in the tree, scoops that out, starts eating it like it's a hamburger. Bees, and I'm like, bro, I'm cool. No, come on. I go in, one sting. My fucking hand inflates to like. They have microbes and gut biomes in their stomach that no one else on the.
So yeah, that's also fascinating with the gut biomes there. I don't know if anybody out there has seen that episode of Rogan, but it's a pretty good one. He talks about his experiences living among the tribes and stuff, and it's pretty true. You take one of us out of our element and plop us down in nature, and it usually doesn't go well as far as like disease and stuff like that.
People talk about having gluten issues in the US and they go to Europe and can eat their gluten just fine.
Oh yeah.
It's not littered with fucking pesticides like it is here. I had a driver when I worked at the asphalt plant come in and tell me that if I ever got pregnant to not eat bread, specifically one serving, like one piece of bread maximum a day, because he also worked washing wheat, and he's like, you cannot get the pesticides off that. It is so bad for you. Don't eat bread.
I believe it. A lot of people who cut bread out of their diet get noticeably healthier.
The city of Ephesus was once home to one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the great temple complex of the city's patron goddess, Artemis. The temple was burned down by an arsonist seeking fame at any cost, allegedly on the very same day that Alexander the Great was born. Much later, when Alexander himself visited the temple and offered to rebuild it, the Ephesians, not wishing to be in his debt, refused his offer and flattered him by saying, "A god cannot rebuild a temple for a goddess. Only a single column of the Artemis temple still stands." The rest of the city of Ephesus is a cat-haunted ruin, but you can still see some remarkable remnants of the ancient people who lived here. The Celsus Library, an outdoor theater that seats 24,000 people, and even a communal public toilet where Romans exchanged gossip and news of the day. The city of Ephesus.
I think it's really fascinating that you get a place like this, and after that many years, for some reason, cats are drawn to it. For some odd reason.
Yeah. And places like that hold a lot of energy. You
Oh,
see
yeah.
that little, what was it, carved out of ivory, the Artemis statue?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Super cool.
Yeah. Pat Suss says his wife and her sisters are now all celiac.
Yeah, I would wonder how they would do in another country. Honestly.
Right. With that food and that the diet stuff, like how Mountain Dew is banned everywhere. Like it's crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Aztecs. Everybody's heard about the Maya. But before the Aztecs and before the Maya, there were a culture who are referred to as the Olmecs. Fascinating figure from one of the Olmec sites. And I made a big deal out of this because I think it is a big deal in Magicians of the Gods. Sitting in the middle of it is this human figure who's holding this strange bag in his hand. And it's just a fact that those identical bags are found in ancient Sumer in the hands of individuals who were considered to be civilization bringers. And they also show up on Pillar 43 at Göbekli Tepe. I call them man bags. And in that case, at Göbekli Tepe, we know they're at least 11,600 years old. So I wonder if we're looking at a sort of badge of office of a group of civilizers who traveled around the world trying to bring back to life a lost civilization.
I think it's very possible it's just luggage. Travelers.
And
Travelers bringing information.
Exactly. Yeah, he hypothesizes a group of civilizers after the flood. Like the flood came, wiped everything out, and there was a group of civilizers, like leftovers after the fact, that traveled around and tried to help everybody maintain civilization. That's why you see so many similar things. Repeating pyramids. Yes, like a pyramid seems, it's like a very easy shape or whatever. Like you just pile things on top of each other, right? But there's also odd similarities, like those handbags, other things like anthropomorphized deities, you know, bird people and dog people, you know, like the concept of all these different celestial gods. It's fascinating, endlessly for me.
Skip that.
Skip this?
Yep.
Anunnaki, these ancient beings from Mesopotamian mythology have been the subject of much
Well, we actually heard about these guys already on that first Sumerian video. They mentioned that.
All right, then skip it.
We'll just skip this one.
The world, which are really lacking in investigation right now. One of them is the Amazon, 5.5 million square kilometers, very little archaeology done. Another is the Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert, tough place to work. I can understand why there's little archaeology done there, but the Sahara Desert was green during the Ice Age. It had a completely different climate regime. We should consider the possibility that missing parts of the human story are there. And then under the continental shelves, because sea level rose 400 feet. These are 3 domains that archaeology has largely not investigated. There are 3 places in the world which are really
super true. But yeah, that's super true about the unexplored regions, like the ocean and the jungles. Like that totally is the areas we need to focus on more, like especially just off the coasts. Because if you think about it, just off the coasts of basically everywhere is going to be where there was coastal cities and stuff at one point when the water levels were lower. So just a fun fact, like they found the lost city of Heraklion that way.
Did you put mush on for him, or did
Yeah,
you
I
start
did.
playing? Okay.
I got the mouse over here.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, they've already found several lost cities, legendary cities already. And I think if they just pragmatically look at where it makes sense to find more, they would, in my opinion. And I told my wife about this one time. The sand blown over from the Sahara
Yeah.
deposits in the Amazon.
Such wild things in the world.
I'll also add to that, Bat Sauce, that sand in the Sahara is so fine because it's probably left over. It's like ocean sand.
What were you telling me about the sand being carried in the air too?
Yep. It blows across the entire ocean and deposits.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And it's wild to see how much of the earth has been buried.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like when they found the pyramids.
Well, when we were on our road trip, just in so we went down through, I believe it was through Colorado and New Mexico, and went all the way through California and up the West Coast, and then back to the Midwest. And we saw a lot of very pyramid-like looking hills and mountains. And I really, really think that we've got some buried ones around here.
Well-
like, why are they all in South America? Oh, really? We don't have any here.
Yeah, they're all just in South America.
There's none in Canada, none in the US. Bullshit.
So I mean, and you think about the giant glacier that was just like carving over Canada and the Midwest and stuff, and it's not that far fetched to think that there could be a lot more from the past year. But
Or how deep are some of them? Maybe we don't even see the points.
in America, I would probably start in the Grand Canyon, just fully opening that up. It seems like it's the most accessible and just a place you can point to. Like, let's just check that whole area out, because think about it. That's like caves and water are natural places for people to gravitate to, because it's shelter and water.
Yeah.
That's why coastal cities are a thing. But I digress.
Researchers were shocked to discover a series of well-arranged metallic pipe-like structures in China. These strange structures were embedded in the rocks around the Mount Baigong. The pipelines were discovered next to Kadim Basin, which is located at the foothills of the Himalayan highlands. The harsh climate of this area has made it
public
inhospitable
water?
throughout human history.
Yeah,
The
like,
most important
it's really
discovery was a
people get
50,
water?
60-meter high pyramid-like protrusion. This protrusion is surrounded by a system of well-organized pipe-like structures
water
that
plant.
lead to Lake Tosunhu, a saline water lake approximately 300 feet away. The origin of these Baigong pipelines and who built them are still a mystery.
Wow.
Was this any sort of ancient research center or some sort of ancient extraterrestrial facility or base? Ancient astronaut
people.
theorists say yes. Another hypothesis is that it was constructed by prehistoric human civilization
Yes, there you go.
using techniques that were lost to subsequent
There you
humans.
go.
Yeah,
In two
That's how it's done. That last part.
that's super cool.
I like watching this stuff, not for the aliens. I come for the history and the culture. And I just think with an open mind and ignore the alien bits. I mean, not that I don't believe in aliens. Statistically, they exist, and we're probably going to see them, but it's different, I think.
Maybe.
I think there's a little bit.
It's incredible how much we can learn just by looking at
This guy's
footprints. These footprints were found in White Sands National Park, New Mexico, and date back around 13,000 years. This individual walked close to a mile in one direction, but every so often, these smaller footprints would appear, implying that this
Oh, they're carrying
individual
a
was
baby,
walking
yep.
across the mud holding a child.
Mhm.
And judging by the distance of the footprints, this individual was walking pretty fast. A potential reason is that she was being followed by a now extinct giant ground sloth. There's also evidence of a mammoth being quite close to them as well. There are two sets of footprints from the same individual, heading in different directions. The first set has a child's footprints and the second set doesn't, meaning this individual reached their destination, dropped the child off, and then headed back. From mere footprints, we get a glimpse of humanity's past.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, like an entire story being told right there. I love it. Yeah. You really can learn like so much. Just the best inspiration is real life. I say that all the time. If you learn about history, it's not wasted learning, because stuff like that, like there's an entire story isolated in just a pair of footprints. It's just it's so cool.
Maybe they ended up leaving their baby for bait.
Right.
And then running away. Like,
You-
we have no idea.
You could frame that story all sorts of
Which
ways.
is horrible, but they're like, oh, they just dropped this kid off and then went somewhere. It's like, where'd they come to that conclusion?
They reached their destination,
Yeah.
dropped the kid off, and then went back. Maybe when something happened to the kid, unfortunately, she gave up and went back. Maybe she was like, F this village, I'm out of here. I'm taking the kid with me. Then something happened and she had to go back.
Who knows?
That'd be
But
sad.
it's cute to see the little ones.
Yeah, the little footprints were cute.
The mystery of the ancient sea people. Towards the end of the Bronze Age, ancient Egypt and the Hittite Empire had signed a peace treaty, and so they were living in an era of peace. But everything changed when the sea people attacked. These mysterious people on boats suddenly appeared and started attacking cities built around the eastern Mediterranean. These random people that just appeared on boats destroyed the Hittite Empire and then attacked ancient Egypt. We actually have some depictions
Why the
from
fuck does
ancient
he keep
Egypt
laughing
showing
about
us
shit
what
that's
they
not even
look
remotely
like.
funny?
I don't know.
Probably something
Like
like this.
genocide.
But here's the thing, they attacked all these places and then just disappeared. They didn't stay or take any land or rule over the places they defeated. They just decided it's time to go back now. Now, of course, there's many theories on who they could have been, but no one really knows. The
Vikings, you think?
That's always my first thought, because they are a later sea peoples. You know what I mean? But
They could have been like, we don't want to farm here.
right, it's all sandy and shit. But the Mediterranean is pretty fertile, like Italy and
It
stuff.
was back then for sure.
Yeah. But I mean,
Sand.
what if it really was like ancient Vikings? That's where the mind goes. The descriptions of them do not seem very Viking-like.
I was joking.
I'm being
When I think of pirates, I don't think of
Yeah, pirates are like an archetype you just see. Like, it's not necessarily like the colonial pirates. It's just like really a marauder at sea is a pirate. You know? Modern pirates look and act very different than the 1700s pirates.
When the craziest emperor in Roman history wanted to entertain his people, he hosted a poetry contest where the losers were beaten and thrown in a river. When he developed a bald spot on the top of his head, he made it a crime punishable by death for anyone to look at him from above. When he saw a beautiful bride at a wedding, he told the groom, "Don't take any liberties with my wife," and had his soldiers carry her away. When he failed to conquer Britain, he instead declared war upon the sea, attacking the waves with artillery and ordering his men to collect seashells as plunder. When he decided he was a god and got into an argument with a statue of Jupiter, he ordered his men to replace the statue's head with his own. And each night before he slept, he'd go out on his balcony and ask the moon to join him in his bed. When he went out in public, he often wore a gold beard and carried a trident. And other times he would wear the armor of Alexander the Great, which he had taken from his tomb. Every day before his favorite horse was about to race, he'd send soldiers around its stables to keep people quiet. And he gave the horse its own palace and slaves, and even threatened the Senate to name it consul. After he slept with his own sisters, he had them banished for adultery. And it said that when he would kiss his lovers, he'd lean in and whisper, "Off comes this beautiful head," whenever I say the word. When you're the maddest monarch in history, they don't just call you Rome's craziest emperor. They call you Caligula. When the
Caligula. Yeah, dude. Real tyranny. I mean, we still see it. But yeah.
Lots of it.
Right. Sorry about that.
When Genghis Khan was 14, he found a fish and brought it back to his family, but his half-brother Bader snatched it from his hands and refused to share. Furious, Genghis Khan stalked his brother until he was alone and murdered him with a bow and arrow. Genghis Khan wanted to get revenge on the Tatar tribe for killing his father. After beating them easily, he came up with a terrible way to kill them. He ordered all Tatar males to be measured against a 90-centimeter linchpin, and those taller were beheaded, essentially exterminating all but the youngest. In 1215, after capturing the city of Zhongdu, he ordered a massacre of such magnitude that the land was described as greasy from the aftermath. Mountains of bones remained, and the city was reduced to ashes. Genghis Khan's burial was shrouded in mystery. Slaves who buried him were killed by soldiers, who were then executed themselves, ensuring his grave's location remained unknown. When
The story of Genghis Khan is the ultimate anime. It's pretty horrible too, to be honest. That's just some of the details. That's like kind of how it started. It's not even, it doesn't even describe, like, he conquered the known world. So the known world was greasy. I'll just say that.
Can you unmute it or like figure this out?
Yeah, I am. I'm just getting it all queued up, babe.
I don't know why you took it even.
Over 6,000 years ago, a mysterious civilization had detailed maps of our solar system. The Sumerians created these drawings using clay. The surviving drawings show that they understood that the sun is a star at the center of the solar system and that other planets revolve around it. They even accurately sketched the orbits and positions of the planets. Interestingly, some of their paintings also depict strange images with giant entities. The Sumerians considered them to be deities. Intriguingly, some of the drawings of these gods even display symbols resembling human DNA sequences. Additionally, they had symbols related to medicine, which bear significant resemblance to modern medical symbols. To this day, we still cannot understand how thousands of years ago, the oldest civilization of mankind had such profound knowledge of
I'm sure they had
astronomy.
microscopes.
This raises the question of whether this
telescopes,
ancient civilization was not backward, but rather had advanced far beyond our current understanding of them.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sumerians, man, another endlessly fascinating civilization. Yeah, it's not a medical symbol, but a lot of it looks very similar. And when you look into the meaning of these similar symbols, you find out that they are related to like medicine. So then people just summarize it by saying it's a medical symbol. You know what I mean? But it's more like a group of coincidences next to each other that are really fascinating to think about. Because in reality, we even really know that this is what this stuff is really saying. Nobody really knows how to speak this language and read it, stuff like that. Same with ancient Egyptian. Like, we just know our best. You know?
Alexander.
One snake is medical. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The army used the wrong symbol for the medical symbol. Yeah, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. It's just the caduceus and the Ankh and what's the Ouroboros. Those are all fascinating to me. But we'll go on to the next one here.
archaeologists have found 700,000-year-old evidence of humans in Greece, which is a full 250,000 years older than the previous record. So ancient Greece is often regarded as the cradle of Western civilization. It's the birthplace of things like democracy, modern medicine, Western philosophy and drama, political science, even the Olympic Games. And because of all those incredible innovations, inventions, and practices that we even use today, we tend to focus on that 2,000-year-old period and ignore the rest of Greece. But, well, turns out we shouldn't do that. And this site's going to show you why. We even have cut marks on ancient bones from stone tools made by not even us, by our human ancestors. I know everybody hates maps, but bear with me on this one. So the Hellenic Ministry of Culture and Sport announced last week that archaeologists had uncovered evidence of human ancestors hunting hippos and elephants between 280 and 700,000 years ago from 5 different sites at what's called the Megalopolis Basin in Arcadia. Now, Arcadia is this island here. That's Athens in Greece. And the red dot I've put on there is where it is. It's about 124 miles or 200 kilometers southwest of Athens. Now, these sites are very lucky to be found. They were actually only found because mining activity, which you can see how deep this is here, has exposed sediment to a way, way greater depth than archaeologists would normally go, as in the oldest site here is 70 meters below the surface. But because of this incredible depth, these sites are extremely well preserved. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through every site because there's only 5 and they're all very interesting. But before I do, I want to note that this isn't published yet, so it's not been peer reviewed. We also only have 4 actual images from the announcement. And I'm going to show some pictures of cut marks on bones. They are not from the site. It's just so we can illustrate what we're talking about and what they have found, so you guys have an idea. Okay, so the first site is called Chiromi 7, which is 280,000 years old and produced a bunch of stone tools like
280,000.
And they also found bones from deers with cut marks on them. Again, we don't have pictures, but the second site is Tripotimus 4 and is 400,000 years old, and it has an enormous concentration of stone tools. And these are actually really interesting. So the technology here is actually totally different to all the sites before it. So this newer site shows new technology developing in response to things we're not entirely sure yet, probably environmental changes, different hunting practices, whatever it is. But this distinct change in technology is really fascinating. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit crazy. So the third site is Marathusa 2, which is 450,000 years old. And this one has evidence of ancient people killing and I assume eating freaking hippos. Like we even have part of a hippo skeleton. That's not what this is. This is a deer head from the site. But we have hippo skeleton with tool cut marks in it from stone tools, which is the only such finding in this age in the entirety of southeastern Europe. Now, with all due respect, hippos are absolute units. Think about what it takes down to bring down one of these 1,800 kilo or 4,000 pound walking hate machines that are covered in a layer of go freak yourself armor that's up to 2 inches or 5 centimeters thick with nothing but your giant ancient human bowls and a sharp. But the tour de Greece of badassery doesn't end there. You see at the nearby sister site of Marathusa 1, which has the same age range, they even found butchered elephant bones, which takes it up several magnitudes of what the hell, bro? I know this image is terrible, but take a look at the size of this elephant. He's just in the bush, and then he waltzes out, decides that this car's in the wrong freaking neighborhood, and turns it into a pancake. And yet somehow our ancestors went out there, and how do you do not the elephant? Jokes aside, this is a fascinating window into the incredible capacity for ancient humans to work together to both develop the technology required to take down something this big, but also the strategy and the cultural communication and the skill to work together and plan something like this. It also suggests to me, which is not something the team has said, but seems to suggest that this was quite a large group of people that needed, to take down an elephant for meat. Suggests quite a large group of people, I would think. Now, the oldest site, Kaipasia 4, which you can see here through this cross-section, is extremely deep. It's 70 meters deep, or 230 feet below the surface. And this dates back to 700,000 years ago, officially making it the oldest Lower Paleolithic site in Greece. Now, along with the usual suspects of a whole bunch of stone tools, archaeologists also found a number of extinct species such as deer, hippo, rhino. I don't know if they killed the rhino, but if they did, what the hell is going on here? And other extinct species of elephants. Now, one of the reasons that this area is so rich with archaeological information is that when Europe was covered by glaciers 300 to 500,000 years ago, paleo-environmental modeling shows that this area would have actually been ice-free and form what's called a refugium or a refuge, which is kind of what they look like behind me here. Now, these regions are just where climate change happens much more slowly. And in this case, while everything around it was freezing like the top of these mountains, this area would have remained relatively warm, which would have forced all the animals, plants, and even humans into one area, creating a much more densely packed environment. than is
That's
typical
right.
of other parts of the world. And archaeologists around the world have begun using these climate models, such as this one right here from Australia, which predicts the best refuge years through time. We've been using these to identify the best places to target ancient human activity, and excavating in these areas is starting to pay off. As this article shows, it's finding some incredible stuff. If you like the content, hit follow, and thanks for staying with me.
That Refugia thing is so fascinating to me. It's like a setting for a novel. You know what I mean? Like some sort of ancient people chilling in this like area around, like in the center of a frozen land. That's for some reason this area is not frozen. You know, that's so fascinating. Oh, thanks for coming by, Bat Sauce. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
We'll go ahead and move on to the next one here. And boom.
How could Ramses II in the dynastics have precision crafted this quartzite statue, which ranks 7 on the Mohs scale of hardness with their softer copper and iron tools?
Flint. I've seen this comment a million times on my videos. The ancient Egyptians used flint to carve hard stones like granite and quartzite. This is sculptor Dave Willett doing exactly that. And he was able to do it to a very high level of precision as well.
I would say the modern sculptor doesn't even come close. But they are demonstrating that it is possible. The only problem is there's a number of the statues that are perfectly symmetrical with like no tool marks. So it doesn't account for everything. But this accounts for modern ancient Egypt. It doesn't account for truly ancient Egypt, though, where all the magnificent magical stuff is. You know, they like to cherry pick and point out examples. And I appreciate this, though, because now I can use Flint in my story writing. That's a fantastic idea, just as story fuel, you know, for those authors out there. This is what I was telling you about earlier, the person that's like the other side of the fence or whatever.
Wow, y'all have been tagging me in this video like
Oh, this
crazy.
guy too.
And I see why, because it's a perfect example of Space Rex's weird, incoherent, nothing makes any sense conspiracy theory. Rex wants you to believe that these are like giant snakes or like dragons or some leviathan or something like that. But guess what? It isn't. The first clue is actually on the screen right now, and that's the fact that the site is called Wadi El Khatan. Do you know what that means? It means Valley of the Whales, Rex. But you would know that if you Googled it. The mudstone, which the site is made out of, was deposited on a seafloor tens of millions of years ago. And because of this, it houses a wealth of marine fossils, including one that you actually show off here. This is actually the first complete fossil of a basilosaurus ever found. This big fella swam the ocean about 40 million years ago and is the descendant of many of our modern whales. See, Rex, you don't have to lie for things to be interesting. And this isn't some super unknown site that the government's trying to keep from you either. It's so important that it's literally a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And if you don't believe me, here's UNESCO themselves saying that it's an invaluable site because of its extinct whale fossils. So while this video may not have any proof of dragons, it does have some really good method acting. Powerful stuff, man. Daniel Day-Lewis would be proud.
Because I lie and sign myself to lies!
If you hate ancient aliens theories as much as I do, then you're gonna love this. I'm going to be making an entire series breaking down ancient aliens theories in depth. Videos that are a little bit more structured and a whole lot longer. And I want to tackle some actual big names as well, like the Ancient Aliens TV show, sponsored by the History Channel. Since I'm confined to 3 minutes here, I'll be posting those on YouTube, so check that out in my profile. And now I have to clean my room so I can actually...
So yeah, this dude makes good points about the whale bones. I like to talk about those a lot because it's proof of the Green Sahara. This whole region here used to be ocean, you know, and there's evidence that in some sort of cyclical manner, it regrows after a time. Mega Lake Chad in the middle of the Sahara is the greatest lake on Earth, and it's underground, and it's remnants of part of that, you know what I mean? Unless there was whales in this mega lake, but I think it's more evidence of some sort of connection to the ocean. So
yeah.
3 ancient wonders of the world.
We'll just skip the ancient stuff.
What do you think about?
Okay.
3 ancient wonders of the world that no longer exist.
Oh, yeah.
The
That's a good
Colossus
one.
of Rhodes, this massive statue of the Greek sun god Helios, was a sight to behold. Constructed in 280 BC, it stood approximately 33 meters high, making it one of the tallest statues of the ancient world. However, it stood for only 56 years before it was destroyed by an earthquake. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, said to be a magnificent tiered garden, it was reportedly built by King Nebuchadnezzar II for his wife, who missed the green hills and valleys of her homeland. Although there's no archaeological evidence of the gardens, they were described in several ancient texts, painting a picture of lush greenery, exotic plants, and elaborate water systems. If they did exist, they were likely destroyed by an earthquake around the 1st century BC. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, constructed in the 3rd century BC on the island of Pharos in Alexandria, Egypt, this lighthouse was one of the tallest man-made structures for many centuries. It guided ships safely into the harbor with a mirror that reflected sunlight during the day, and a fire that
More
burned
story
at
fuel.
night. The lighthouse was damaged by several earthquakes and eventually disappeared in the 14th century. Follow us for more bizarre history. 3 ancient...
Yeah, you can. I went a little hard on the ancient stuff, but I like stuff that lends itself to writing, and I'm just such a nerd with history. Ancient. I think I typed in ancient and just like tried to pick out a bunch of different cool stuff, but I think we're past it. So. I'll always talk about the wonders of the world. They're so fascinating.
Maggie, I'm here with the cop's going to explain what happened, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to come into work. I'm going to at least be a little late.
Okay.
Oh my God.
This is Officer Rucker with the Salt Lake City Police Department. So, Kevin here was pepper sprayed early this morning. Yeah, someone knocked on his door. He opened up the door and he was pepper sprayed. So he might be a little late or not come in today.
Yeah.
It is a pretty painful thing. So.
Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? Maggie, I'm here with
Dude, we put police grade mace on our upper lips one time, and that shit was fucking rough.
I bet.
You're pretty smart kids.
I have a childhood memory of my dad coming to visit, and I jumped up and gave him a big hug and didn't realize, because he was a security guard, so he had his mace on his utility belt. I didn't realize I kicked it, and I don't know if I just like held it down or if it was one quick squirt or what, but the entire house had to run outside, and we were all coughing and couldn't see anything. That was just in the entryway, which is isolated, and it's crazy,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's pretty nuts, yeah.
Just at my mom's house, letting her dog out, just looking around at stuff. It's very interesting, the stuff you find when you're just looking at stuff at your mom's. Just at my mom's house, letting her dog out, just looking around.
Oh, yeah,
When our grown kids disappoint us.
when our grown kids
I'm
disappoint.
sure she has some real narcissistic parents.
Yeah, fun stuff there for grandma.
I kind of like the thing when you finally open up to your parent about being depressed, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I was such a horrible parent.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I believe you.
That reeks of that shit right there.
I believe you when you say it like that, for sure.
You want to know why I was fired off the original Rugrats movie? When I was working on the story, I had them at the zoo chasing a runaway monkey, ending up airlifted into an African jungle and being stranded there until they were rescued. An executive who wasn't great at her job told me Rugrats would never be put in danger on our show. Sorry, we're replacing you with new writers. The plot of the final movie? The Rugrats get in a car accident, get stranded in a forest, and get kidnapped by a pack of wild monkeys. Can I put them in danger? Hey, come here.
That's funny. I love seeing stuff like this.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty based. He's like, I'm going to talk about this.
Mother that posted a photo of their child in the bathtub where you couldn't see everything, but you could see enough, and it said on the top of it, they have no idea what's going to happen to them tonight. And then underneath there was comments with other people saying what they were going to do to this person's child. And at this point, remember, I have access to their server and they don't know it. After I spoke to my attorney, who told me, hey, you did break federal law, if you report this, you're risking going to prison. But I was just thinking to myself, if I bring this to trial, what jury is going to convict me? I mean, I just don't think guilty or not. I'm willing to take my chances. I reached out to my attorney. I spoke to over 10 news stations. I have some of the calls recorded with them. Everybody was interested in this story. They thought it was amazing. As soon as it got to legal, not one of them posted the story. Even when I said remove my name from it, remove any of the info I obtained illegally from it, just alert people that this website exists on the internet, nobody posted it. The kicker, which is what got me started in this after all of that, is 6 months later, I'm watching the news and I'm reading the news online. I see Nathaniel Larson arrested at an airport at a layover with a 12-year-old girl that he kidnapped, and they were fully aware of what he was doing. They're fully aware of the 15,000 other people that I caught on the website with their IP addresses, their emails, their chat history, everything about them. There was a father that posted
Yup.
People like him are the real heroes.
Yeah, I mean, he's breaking
Doing
the law.
the right thing no matter what it's going to do to him.
He's breaking the law by hacking, but you got to talk about that stuff when you find it. You got to tell people. It sucks that the mainstream didn't really give a shit. They're like, oh yeah, we're interested. Tell us about it so we can cover it up. But anyway.
What's up, y'all? Damn, I got a big ass head. Ugh, Grandma, why the fuck you keep walking around here farting? Actually, Charlotte. Ugh, you fart like that again. We got to put you in a nursing home. Oh, stop it. Shit, bitch, I ain't playing. Now go change your diaper. Okay. God damn it, Grandma. Damn, her old ass always farting. I don't know what the fuck. Wait, what the fuck?
Ridiculous.
That was a bummer.
I love.
Are you gonna film our candy video now? Huh?
Mellem... Nej, ikke noget. Snakker om.
Man, everybody on FaceTime talking about you like Steve Harvey. Look, y'all really think you look like Steve Harvey? Huh? Hey, what's wrong with you?
Så vi ser. Hey, Bob. Hi, Karimo. What's up? Oh my God, what the heck is happening? Mom, what are you cooking right now? Are you really scared of a filter?
Hey, babe, say hi to TikTok.
Hey.
I wanted to ask you some questions for this TikTok video.
The fuck is that? Huh?
What?
There's a spider in here.
Is a spider in here? Are you sure?
I don't know.
You ready?
This is a video.
What the fuck, babe?
What the fuck was that, bro?
What do you mean?
No, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck you, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
What happened?
Pranking my sister with the spider filter.
Anissa, there's a spider on you. What? You're wearing your hijab.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so today. Say cheese. Cheese.
Leave it to Grandma. Yeah, that's a good one. I think this is the last one here.
You're adopted. Yeah, you're not mine. You're adopted.
Excuse me, sir.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, just spit it out.
Come on, now. Take it.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Thanks for holding the drink.
This.
You have the dogs that love the water. And then you have the dogs that hate the water.
There's two types of people.
What a good boy.
So yeah, That's what we got for you guys today.
We'll probably stream later tonight again too. We have to figure out what videos did not have sound.
Yeah,
The
and
second one, we might just scrap
yeah,
those.
there's always more videos. That's the thing about this.
Yeah,
there's
some
always
of those are old news by now.
we can just view that as good practice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I got to get rid of my headache before we stream again. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I can barely look at the screen.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe I can turn down the
Like that
brightness.
really bad tension headache behind the eyes.
Well, be sure to follow us on X at _C_Pritchard, acpritchard at .substack.com, and tune in next time.